The Parliamentary Committee on Basic Education has removed some of the clauses in the Basic Education Laws Amendment Bill. The move follows consultation with various stakeholders across the country, and one of the clauses that were removed include giving heads of the department powers on language and admission policies at schools. We're now joined by Bongiwe Mbinqo-Gigaba to speak more on the process of the Portfolio Committee. She's the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Basic Education. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your time this afternoon. Given that you're almost at the finish line and this has taken a number of years, how would you overall characterize the process to get to where we are today?
Let me greet you, Dudu, and the listeners at home. We are, like you are saying, at the final stages now. But I think let me just correct that the clause that is giving the HOD powers to deal with admission of schools is not removed from the Bella bill. We saw an article yesterday, and I must just say that it is misleading, and we don't know where is it coming from. We have started the processes to come back to your question in 2021. We have called for written and oral submissions. And then we have embarked on public hearing processes throughout the country. And then we came back to sit down with the department and tell them what is our view on what has happened on the public hearings. Last Tuesday, we were doing what you call is a list, that is to take off what is needed and to take in what do you think should be considered. And next week, we will be finalizing the whole bill so that we can take it to Parliament.
Okay, let's get clarity perhaps on clauses that have been removed.
The clauses that has been removed is clause 8, which deals with the alcohol that can be sold at school for fundraising purposes. And the second clause that has been removed is clause 14, that deals with the declaration of interests from members of the SGBs if they do have an interest, a financial interest. The Bella bill was recommending that they declare that. So we have removed it because what we have picked up when we were conducting public hearings is that members of the public, particularly the SGBs organization, they felt that there is no need that they must declare their financial interests to the Department of Basic Education.
Is that the only one so far?
Yes,
okay.
Those are the two clauses.
And then let's take a look perhaps at the admission policy as well as the language policy. What did the committee deal with when it comes to those two issues, which are quite contentious?
I do agree with you. They are very contentious issues. But remember, we are coming from the hearings, and the department, what they is recommending is that you still allow SGPs to take a decision. For instance, let's say the admission, you would want your child to be admitted in a particular school. You still allow the SGP to take a decision. But if you do as a parent, you are not in agreement with the decision of the SGP. For instance, the policy of the department would say your child must be at least within 5-kilometer radius from where you are residing. And there is a huge movement of people from rural to urban. People are moving to towns. That is the reality. So you would find still schools that would not accept a child. For reasons, of course, they would put, and it goes together with the issue of language. And in that school, you would find that there is a particular language that is being used, and therefore your child would not be admitted because maybe he's not an Afrikaans-speaking child. So what the department is recommending is that if yourself you feel you are not satisfied, because of course you would know the situation of the school and you would know why as a parent you want to take your child to that particular school, you can elevate the matter to the head of department. And the head of department, in consultation with the SGB of that particular school will take a decision whether your child can be accepted or not accepted. And also whether the issue of language, should the language continue to be a particular language. If a school is a Tswana school, for instance, an HOD should be able to intervene to say, but there are other Xhosa-speaking children around the area. So those children must be accepted, even if there are Afrikaans learners around the area. An HOD should be able to intervene, but it can't be solemnly a decision of the school governing body.
Is the committee satisfied, as you mentioned, that almost the final stages with the work of the bill?
Remember, Committee Dudu is a multi-political party committee, and you would have different views from different political parties. So I must say there are parties who have objected, and particularly on the clause that you just mentioned, there are parties who do not agree. Democratic Alliance, for instance, has objected. The Bella bill, the ACDP has objected because ACDP has got another issue, which is their contentious clauses, which is clause 37. So there are those differences amongst committee members. But of course, that should not make us to stand still. We should be able to proceed. And we proceed based on how much people are saying what in a committee. So we've had those debates, and we've had them for quite some time. You would remember at some time we would even adjourn our meetings. We would stop because there are differences. We would come back. We would start over again. But at some point we had to take decisions, and we had to move on.
Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Bongiwe Mbinqo-Gigaba, Basic Education Parliamentary Committee Chairperson.